Today I have the pleasure of moderating a talk with two very important people in the sneaker industry. The global rise of sneakers and stuff has really taken the industry by storm. Starting in Stockholm, London, Paris, Berlin, they are the kings of collabs, regardless of what anyone says. And I'd like to introduce to you Peter Jansson and Mubi Ali.
Hello, hi.
Thanks for having us.
Hi.
So let's kind of start at the beginning. SNS opened in '99.
Yeah.
That's like 20 years ago. Like, what made you decide you wanted to start or open a sneaker store?
Well, Eric and I, my partner Eric, who's not here, we went back and forth to the US starting from '91, I think. And we saw a huge gap between sporting goods and fashion. We were retailers who worked in sporting goods. And the fact that when you landed in wherever, Chicago or New York, you saw people wearing sneakers, like everyone was, like my granddad, everyone. And we figured there's a little gap here. In Europe, denim didn't exist if you were older than 40.
Right.
Right. At the time.
But how did you know that the Swedish people or the Swedish market would take to this, and how did they take to it?
I didn't. At first, it was just us hunting shoes, like hunting sneakers in whether it was Harlem or Brooklyn or Jersey. We were hunting shoes for ourselves, and us working in retail, customers came to us and they wanted what we were wearing, and that led to us sort of cashing in on them. So we were basically reselling on the side when we were working in a sporting goods store. It came to the point where they actually paid our trips, and when we had at one trip we had like 300 pairs prepaid.
Right.
And we had their names, their sizes, and the amount of money I got. And then some wanted a particular pair, like Air Force Ones, that color. Someone says something cool, that money.
Right.
So we literally walked around every single street there was. Like at that time, there's the whole thing with where to get those, which is a guy in the back usually say. When you were walking in Brooklyn on Fulton Street and you had a pair of shoes that you bought up in Harlem, people were literally snapping their necks like, where do you get those? Well, I got them in your city, like a few subway stops up there. But people didn't really know how to react, and it was even worse in Sweden. People were literally. They were dying to see, what we had on our feet every time we traveled. So
Right. So just to understand, you guys didn't have accounts.
No.
You started off just by going to different cities and picking up shoes and bringing them back, and just being able to then hustle that way.
At first consignment store.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
At first,
consignment
we just I hate to say it, but we were resellers.
Right.
We bought cheap stuff in the US, brought it back home, and sold it expensive.
Sure.
Like two-tone dunks. Nobody cared for them in the US. In Sweden and Europe, they were super hype. So I bought, Air Force One UL swooshes for $14.99 on 32nd Street, brought them back to Sweden, sold them for $150. So that's sort of how we started building.
Right. So, I mean, today the game's changed. Now with social media, with the internet, how has that affected your business?
To be fair, Sneakers and Stuff started. We started in '98. The company started in '98, and with the intention to sell hard-to-get, rare sneakers online. So
it was a website. What first?
The plan was to open a website, but since we were background was retail, we had no idea how to do a website. So some friends of ours, they built a website. They got the option to get 1% of the business, or like $1,000 on their table. They got the cash.
Okay. Probably regret it now.
Pretty bad move. But yeah, so we went online in, I think, April '99. But we opened a store on what we now call Air Max Day. But that was Sneakers and Stuff Day, March 26, 1999.
Wow, so it was on the same day as Air Max Day.
Yeah,
that's
but no one knew about Air Max Day.
Then,
yeah,
of course.
So for us, it's SNS Day.
Of course. And how did that, for example, how did the women take to it?
Actually, a lot of our consumers were women. It's always been like we try to have like 50% women business. And our first store was we sold a lot of like GS Air Force Ones, but we priced them as women's.
Okay.
Which is
yeah. GS is grade school, so it's the kids' shoes.
Yeah, they were cheap really cheap, and we sold them really expensive. But yeah, that sort of paid our bills.
Yeah.
And going forward a year, in 2000, we sort of outgrew our store, so we bought out the neighbor, so we had in 2000 we had a women's store and a men's store. So yeah, it was Lady Foot Locker and Lady Sneakers and Stuff.
Okay. So, and one more question about that is, how long did it take for you from getting your store to your first official account with a brand?
The minute we started talking to brands, we went to these trade shows, and we were super certain that we wouldn't get Nike, because that was, at the time it was all these rumors about you had to have X amount of money on and we weren't even allowed to open up a bank account because we were just kids, and so I think Nike, since I had about 10 years of experience before, I was a high school dropout, started working in the retail game at 16. So I know all these Nike people, and Eric used to work at a Nike shop. So they came to us and just helped us up there. So we had Nike actually at the very big from March 26th.
Okay.
But before that, it was all, we had no clue that we were going to get Nike. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to now try and move on to Mubi.
Well, that's the history. That's like the beginning of sneakers.
Yeah, that's the beginning.
We're still in the 90s, right? Or?
Yeah, we're still in the 90s.
Yeah.
But there are many people who claim to be sneaker kings.
Right.
But there are very few people with the quality and sheer scale of shoes that Mubi has. Now, if anyone, to be honest.
I'm sure there's a few out there.
There are a few.
I don't think so.
Mayors running around.
I've seen the things that you've got.
Yeah.
He doesn't post about it on Instagram or anything. Rather, he just wears things and your neck snaps when you see it, right? But now, I want to kind of, talk about your history and how far you came from and how you got into everything. Now, I first met Mubi when I had my store. I had a small store in a record shop called Major Flavors. And Mubi just came in, bought a couple of shoes that I had on the shelf. And then from there, he's been a pinnacle part of the industry. From working in the huge department store, Selfridges, Okini, legendary Crooked Tongues, worked at Nike, HQ, and now, of course, SNS. Have I missed anything?
No, that's spot on.
Okay, cool. So how did you get into the industry?
I guess it all came from passion. So I had a great platform at Selfridges. I was exposed to a lot of brands, and I worked with a lot of brands, and they saw that I was really, really into my shoes because I was wearing something new pretty much every single day, and they were like, okay, what's this guy all about? He's got more trainers than he has clothes, I guess. And I started collecting since I was like 16. And, my parents always wanted me to be a professional in some way or form, like a businessman, accountant, a doctor. Unfortunately, I didn't take that route. I studied that way, which was fine, but you know what? My passions were elsewhere, and I wanted to, express myself in some way, shape, or form in an industry that I looked up to a lot. And I found an avenue through Selfridges. I started off right from the bottom, just a normal admin guy, and then I worked my way up to an assistant buyer. And then from there, you know, one of my old bosses picked me up, sent me to Okini. He said, look, I'd love your expertise on the footwear side of things. I know you're really into your shoes. So, you know, I did that for a year, and then my dream job came up with Nike. I worked with Nike for 2 years, which was like amazing, working for a corporate, American corporation that, you know, has their ways and methods of, you know, teaching people how to do things properly, I guess, in business. And that's all down to opinion. And then from there, you know, I worked with Crooked Tongues for 4 years, rest in peace. Because I was a massive forum member with Magdi, with Peter, with a couple of guys at the back there, you know. Everyone like really got together on Crooked Tongues, and it was a great way of like exchanging ideas and meeting like for like people, I guess. And then Pete and Eric came along and asked me to join, you know, their growing empire, and that was their first venture outside of Stockholm. And you know, I helped open the London store back in 2014, and I guess that's where I really come into, you know, the Sneakers and Stuff story, as that was their first, like I say, venture outside of Stockholm, and you know, the global takeover.
I mean, yeah, things really kicked off in London. To be fair, a year ahead of you, we got two partners, two guys that sort of believed in us, because that was 10 years after we opened. And we came to a point, should we open another store in Sweden, or should we open, you know, should we be the world's best store in Sweden? Like, nobody cared about Sweden. So we figured, let's go to the closest big city. And if you can make it in London, we can make it anywhere. Because London, there's a lot of good stores there. We found a really expensive space, super close to Nike Lab, which was super popular. We opened up, still organically, no money invested. So we were really, we signed the lease for 20 years. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
5.5 months later, we got break even. Our online business in the UK grew by 500%.
Yeah.
And we started looking at Paris.
Yeah. So I mean, like, if you think about the story that Pete just told you about, you know, back in 1999, like being a consignment store essentially, to where we are today, we are, you know, we hold official accounts with all the major brands. We do SMUs, collabs. We work with loads of different partners to do really fun stuff. And to see that from, you know, back when I joined to where we are today, it's just phenomenal growth. And it's like, you know, it all comes down to passion. When you work with passionate individuals, passionate people, I think Jeff touched on it yesterday. If you work really hard and you're really into it, you never stop working, and everything is fun. It's not a job anymore. It's your hobby. You know, I'm looking at shoes pretty much every single day. It's like a dream come true, I guess.
So, but, you know, taking your passion and turning it into a career is probably what every single person in this room would love to do.
Of course.
But has it been smooth sailing?
You know what?
For both of you.
You have to learn along the way. You know, you have to, you fall down, you get back up. It's like with anything. You're not going to have overnight success. Like, you're not going to one day think, oh, you know what, I'm really into sneakers. I'm going to have the best sneaker store in the world. A year later, you have that. You know, I mean, someone could do that. I'd love to see someone do it. But, you know, it's very hard work. You have to really think out a lot of things. And, like, you know, 20 years in the making, I guess, where we are.
Yeah, I mean, first, I'd say 7 years. I think I got more paid this year than I got the first 7 years together. Right. So it was you know, I left a pretty good job as a store manager and a buyer for a big corporation to end up with no salary, having to, you know, wanna be DJ, but I'm not a proper DJ. But I had a record store for 4 years. Inside the store, I bought some of the records from Major Flavor.
From Major Flavors,
yeah, like mashups and shit.
Yeah.
And there was no money in it. We had to do other stuff to actually get, you know, any money at all. And yeah, it's tough if you don't, you know, you have to remember, like, there's not gonna be, you know, fancy dinners in about 10 years. But it's totally worth it.
But that's the point. It's what you guys are saying. It's about hard work. It's about, you know, those 7-day weeks, you know, all month, 2 months, 3 months, 4
Putting
months.
in the hours, meeting the right people, talking to the right people, building relationships, having a vision, you know, following that, your heart, putting your heart and soul into it. If you do that, you know, you can achieve absolutely anything. You've got every platform today to expose yourself to the globe. It's not as local as, you know, starting off in Stockholm. You can be an instant star if you want to be. You've got every single social media platform available, the internet, like you say. It's the greatest time for, I guess, entrepreneurs, if you want to call it that. Get a bunch of friends together. I mean, it might not always be the best thing to do, but, you know, it's a starting point. If you need help or if they've all got different expertise, it's the best way to get things going. But yeah.
So with like competition is as tough as it could get with, there's so much high caliber brands and stores, and you guys have opened in several cities in Europe now. How do you keep ahead of the game? How do you constantly stay relevant to, you know, to be at the top of your game?
I think us having a proper retail background, knowing what we're selling, is key. We're not just kids that happen to like sneakers. We're like super geeks. Everyone that works with us are super geeks, and we sort of breathe sneakers. And I think that shines through. If you come to a store, you can talk. You know, you can talk. 91.
We've done it.
Yeah. I mean, there's people coming to hang out, and it's. I think it's. You have to understand that it's a community, and you have to pay respect to those cities that you open up in. There's been a couple of sort of obstacles, but I think each city we open in we've elevated that city.
But do you feel there's anything missing from that community, like you talk about now? You know, I feel that there's, compared to the times of Crooked Tongues, the forums, that era, I feel it's no longer about a community. It's about, you know, it's about hype. How do you feel about that? Like, what's your take on it? Do you feel that there's a community within your...
I'm still a massive hype beast, if you want to call it that. I mean, I still... Cheers, Jay, thanks. I still love my stuff. I still buy every single release that I'm into. I'm like... That's why I've got 4,500 pairs of shoes, I guess.
4,500?
4,500.
Just want to make that clear.
When he started with me, he had 2,700, so that's 2 pairs per day.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's nice working for a sneaker company.
And your sample size.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you get helped out a little bit here and there. Shouts to all the brands that help me out. But I guess, like, you know, I started queuing up back in 2003, 2004, outside Foot Patrol in St. Anne's Court. And there were, 15, 20 people for HTM Wovens, for the Hiroshis, Air Force Ones. And, like, you know, that was such a nice experience. And then, like, as the years went by, you know, the Adidas 35th, the Dunkles, that was one of the best queuing experiences I've had. Like, it was just nice, calm, everyone talking amongst each other, just catching up. Where do you get your shoes from? Blah, blah, blah.
Because they wanted the shoes.
Of course, yeah, totally. It was all organized. There was no pushing in, aggression. But what we see today is like, I think dog eat dog, you know? It's like every person out for themselves. They need to be first in the queue. Okay, I'm back at 180. I need to be like 1 to 20 to get a chance to get a shoe. We were in ComplexCon earlier this year, and that was mayhem. I've never seen anything like that in my life, and I was shocked. I had to take a step back and say, you know what, this place ain't for me. And then coming here, like, you know, the experience here has been completely the opposite. Everyone's been, there is a sense of like respect and community, and people respecting each other's space and talking amongst each other and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't seen that for the past maybe year, 2 years now.
Exactly. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a nice energy around
of course,
here.
totally.
And it's not it doesn't feel forced. It feels like everybody just wants to be part of a community.
Exactly. There's no pressures there, I guess. And like, you know, Jeff talked about it yesterday. He wants to bring something back, hence why he released his pigeon that way. And having a crowd like that, I mean, I'm not sure what the crowd was like there. It looked like it was managed properly. It's so hard having the mechanics behind managing queues across 4 doors.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, especially in the bigger the city, the bigger the problem.
Yeah.
And it's us basically handing out money to people. Because a lot of guys they actually used to sell drugs. Now they can sell sneakers, but it's legal and it's better markup. So
I mean, now the resale game is completely changed, because when we were, you know, even 5-6 years ago, it would be unheard of to be buying a product and walking out of the store and selling it in front of the store. That was considered disrespectful.
Of course, you'd go home, you'd look at it, you'd take pictures, you'd try it on, you'd be like, oh, do I want this shoe or do I not want this shoe?
Yeah.
And then you'd think about, okay, I'll resell it. It doesn't fit right, you didn't get the right size, blah, blah, blah. But now it's straight out the door to the, you know, there's a bunch of guys hanging out. Oh, do you want to sell your shoe? Do you want to sell? I'll give you cash right now.
Yeah, there's guys hanging out with 20, 30,000 outside of Supreme or outside of SNS, and they're just wanting to buy everybody's product. Yeah. And like, where is that? You know, there's no love in that.
You don't see it on
if I was 18
anymore.
today, I would do the same probably. So, I mean, they see a business opportunity. So you can't really hate on them.
I'm not hating on it. It more in the sense of there was a point where it was, you know, it was 30, 40% resellers back then. Now it's like 90%, it feels like, because everybody does it.
The brands are pushing hype. Like, if you go to a social media platform, they're talking about the latest Yeezy. They're talking about the latest whatever, Fenty, whatever, the top product.
Of course.
And they have millions of followers. So all of a sudden, kids that are 11 years old, they know about Yeezy, but they have no clue who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different now.
Yeah.
But I think it's up to us to sort of educate them a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think we're trying to do that. We try to push not just hype. We try to have a little different angle on releasing stuff. We can do storytelling about a product that shouldn't be an instant sellout, but we put some effort into it
and you have fun with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have fun. Yeah. Otherwise, why go to work when you don't have fun? So.
Well, and that goes smoothly into my next question. Well, it's actually more of something for you guys. You know, a few of the things that really sets you apart from the others is your adverts, is your commercials. And I've got 2 videos today that I want to show you guys in case you haven't seen it. One is for the Air Max 97, and the other one is for the Adidas Stockholm, which is the new advert we've just seen. So we're going to play the Nike commercial first.
I told her I'm from Hounslow, and I said I'm quarter Brazilian. I said half Latino. She thought I was, really I'm just Pakistani. Okay, so tell us what we've got coming up next, Mubi.
Up next, we've got Nike's latest release, the Nike Air Max 97 OGs.
Okay, so now these were originally released in 1997, which was a great year for trainers.
Actually, mate, these were released back in 1999.
Okay, so these are actually vintage. Okay, these are almost 20 years old. I can really see a great character to them, and a very musky scent. You can almost taste it.
Actually, mate, they're re-releasing them, so these are brand new.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Even better. Now, I'll tell you what you guys are really going to love about these is the colorway.
The what?
The colorway. Like people always ask, what color is in season? Is it red again? Is it mauve? Is it leopard print? I'll tell you one color that never goes out of fashion. Gold, mate.
Yes, gold gives these shoes their great nickname, the Gold Bullets.
Yeah, but don't worry, guys. This isn't America. We're not selling live ammunition. But if you miss out on these bad boys, you really will be shooting yourself in the foot. Banter.
Anyway, This is a great Nike shoe that has really stood the test of time, and I've seen these go for quite a lot of money recently. However, next week they're releasing for £130.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Okay, now let's see these bad boys in action on the runway. First, modeling these absolute beauts is the best MC in the galaxy, MC Grinder. Now, as you can see, wait, mate, just stay here. Now, as you can see, MC Grinder has gone for a performance look. Tell me, is this something that you would usually wear?
Yeah, this is something that I'd normally wear.
Cool, talk us through it.
Oh, I'm just wearing stuff that would be really good to shell down any dance with, do you know what I mean? And it's actually good because when they see a tall, dark, gorgeous, handsome, mysterious figure with piercing green eyes, they'll look down and see gold trainers that actually glow in the dark as well.
Wow.
That's actually 3M reflective material.
What? You say 3M, most normal people say glow in the dark. We'll just stick with that.
Okay, Grinder, thank you so much. Please take a seat, mate.
Yeah. You got a mic we're doing there?
Yeah, we'll do the mic, we'll do the bars later, please, yeah?
Because you said.
Yeah, later. Cool. Okay, now next up on the runway, we have DJ Beats. Now, DJ Beats is also father to 2 beautiful children. And as you can see, he's kind of gone for a summer vibe, but also letting people know that he's a cool baby daddy. Tell me, how comes you went for this outfit?
Because you told me that I could only wear Nike.
Of course. Hey, cool bag.
Yeah, it's just got wet wipes in it.
Wet wipes are actually really good for keeping your Air Max 97 OGs clean whilst you're out and about.
No, this is because my daughter will wipe her ass because she goes to the toilet every 3 hours like clockwork. My son does as well, but he's 19, so thank God I ain't got to clean him up.
How cute.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that family story. Please take a seat on the sofa, DJ Beats.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for the colorful language there. And finally, we have DJ Steve's. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. DJ Steve's, have you gone for a classic raver look?
Yeah. I just came straight here, so.
Okay, cool. Talk us through it, mate.
Well, it's a classic dancing trainer, isn't it? It's got a good spring because of the air bubble, bouncing, raving, skanking, all of that.
Yeah.
Good talking point as well. Like if you're in a rave, you can like, you seen these?
Yeah. Okay, Stevie.
Pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, it's it. Okay, Steve, you're being a bit weird now. Go back, please, mate.
Sorry, I tripped up.
Okay, so don't hesitate, guys. These are going to be a limited release only.
Super limited. So if you want them, call the number on the screen now. And check this out. Always buy from Chibadi G, the #1 salesman in the Hounslow East area. Some of Hounslow West too. Oh, looks like we got our first caller. Hi, Chibadi G, how can I help you?
Yeah, is that your buddy G?
The very same.
Yeah, okay. That gold ring, right? Just got out the shower and I'm convinced this is not real gold. All the gold's just gone down the drain. I want my money.
Cut him off. Wrong number, probably. Hey, listen, guys, keep ringing. Remember, if you're a real fashionista, shoe expert like me, you'll know about these baby boys. So come and get your golden nuggets.
Bullets.
Come and get your golden bullets.
I wouldn't call myself a pioneer. You could call me if you want to, but I wouldn't.
My parents think it's kind of childish, but I'm not a child. I'm an adult, so I showed them. I'm doing what I love. You should do what you love. That's a really good one.
That's quality, that one.
Perfect deck.
Sorry for the Swedish accent.
So, just a quick question on that. Like, why did you take or choose to take the comedy route from there?
Why not? It makes people laugh, right? Yeah. We're here to sell sneakers. Sneakers should be fun. Sneakers should be fun to sell. But no, I mean, like, you know, it's an amalgamation of ideas from our marketing team, from Nike's marketing team, Adidas's marketing team. We're all about having fun. We're not about, you know, being too serious or too cool or unapproachable. So
There's too many of them.
Sorry?
There's too many of them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we rather have fun and games with it all, to be honest. And this is what comes of it.
And did it result in sales? Like, how did it result in numbers?
Tough to measure marketing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not so black and white.
Obviously, the Air Max 97s we knew gonna fly out, but yeah,
that went
and
viral.
they did. Like,
I mean, that went everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody spoke
they
about
sold
it.
out, but so numbers like the Stockholm one. We had first 5 minutes, more than 1,000 pairs sold, one colorway.
Wow, the blue one.
And they're $150. So it was pretty good.
Wow. And how did it feel being on camera?
You know what? I was
Were you
suppressed.
nervous?
I'm a little bit more of a personality. I'm not as dry as I am on stage. I get a little bit nervous in front of a crowd, I guess. No, but Chabadi G was the character. I don't know if you've seen his show, but him and the Corrupt FM guys, they've had 4 seasons so far, and they're hilarious. Like, he is comedy genius, and they wanted me to kind of suppress my personality and not be so outspoken, I guess. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I'm not a professional on camera, I guess. So yeah, but it was fun. It was a great learning experience, and you know, I'd love to do it again sometime if anyone wants to put me back on camera. Lol.
All right, so I want to move on quickly onto your parties. Now, if people know about SNS parties, they're legendary as well. Like, some of the people that you've had at your launch parties or at, you know, opening parties and so on. Ghostface, Capadonna, Inspector Deck. You've had Schoolboy Q. You've even got who's performing today. You've had Pusha T. That was for the London store, right?
Yep.
Like, is that your approach to advertising as well?
I mean, I'd rather spend money on something I want to see than put a big ad in a newspaper. So it goes back to, I had a dream to have Bass Marquis perform in Stockholm for like 10 years. And he came. Like, that was like...
And that's pinnacle.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's something that you strive for, and you wanted Biz Marquis, and it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's, for me, that's like when you have a passion and that's what you strive for and you achieve it, you kind of manifest it. You kind of make your dreams come true yourself.
Totally, and again, it all comes down to the fun part, giving back to the consumers that have bought from us, you know, sharing with them what we're really happy to do, like opening up stores, giving them an amazing experience, and again, just having fun with it all. And you know, all of those parties have just been so much fun to be involved in, and like even seeing everyone's faces at the event, like the one in Berlin, it just stood in my mind. It was just insane. Like, you know, the crowd were just so energetic. Ghostface, Pusha T, of course.
I mean, they came to a point where we talked about John Varvatos took over CBGB's in New York. We took over White Trash, which is a legendary club in Berlin. So I have a club in Berlin now, which is pretty weird.
Right.
But we only have it for private parties. But it's the fridge for beers fits 40,000 beers. So it's a pretty big club. And we've had a few events there, but it's a private thing. But it's 6,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yes, below the store, which we can do fun parties in, just to, you know, because we can.
Okay. Well, look. So this is I'm gonna try and just bring this in because this is a bit of a controversial one because a lot of people don't know how to react to this question. But how many people here have used the term sneaker culture? There must be a few, right? Cool. But it's kind of controversial. We know we've had this conversation before. How do you feel about the term sneaker culture? Do you believe it exists?
Of course. I mean, if you go back to, if you're old, you remember Nike Talk, you remember the Crooked Tongues, you remember all these forums that was sort of the culture back then, back in the 90s, 2000. now a lot of those guys that are grumpy old men like me, they're sitting in these amazing positions at brands. So I know Jeff was talking about it yesterday about you do collabs with brands, not brands, but with people. So all these guys that I was, chatting with on a forum, now I collaborate with them. Like whether it's Matt Sleep that worked for Addy, or now Chuck, like the Converse, or Chris Law, or I can name like 15 guys that I was like just friends with, and now they're all working the dream. Like, and they're all the reason why we do all this fun stuff.
But would you consider that the sneaker community, or would you, because the term culture is the direction I'm trying to kind of target here, because on one side people will say that this is a sneaker industry and it's straight consumerism. It's straight, there is no such thing as sneaker culture. There's a sneaker community. There is an industry, but what we do is our love and it's our hobby, as opposed to a culture.
So, I mean, I don't know if you've read the Soul DXB magazine, but I've got an article in there around all of this. My personal humble opinion of it all is, I guess sneaker culture is a part of the whole culture, as in music, art, fashion. It's just a small, tiny part of it that fuels it, that adds to it, that influences it. And yes, it's huge now. It's massive. From the time that I've been into it since 2002, 2004, to where it is today, the growth has been phenomenal. I guess we can see that in a growth in our business, and just generally like the attention that's on it. Things like Soul DXB would not exist if, back in 2002, 2003, ComplexCon would not exist. All these conventions that are, bringing people together.
Back then, there were barbecues.
Of course, yeah, totally.
Like 50.
Like I say,
let's just make something clear though. Soul DXB was way before ComplexCon.
Yeah, exactly. I think they bit on you guys, right?
Yeah, let's make that clear. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions, because I know we don't have much time left. Okay, Bobito, let's hear this.
Bobito Garcia, Cucumber, Slice.
Legend.
Make it happen.
It's always interesting to me to hear people be like, oh, there's no culture, or it's not a culture, or it's, for me being born in 1966, it would be unimaginable for someone to own 4,000 sneakers like Mubi in the 70s. Like, that's unfathomable. So the culture changes every 10, 15 years. It would be unfathomable to imagine in 76 someone buying a pair of basketball sneakers that didn't play ball, or someone buying an Air Max 97 who didn't run. So what I try to impart with other people who are like very passionate like myself is that we should be nostalgic about our introduction and our entry into the culture, but don't discount the next movement, right? So, like for me, I don't discount a cat like Mubi because he's buying sneakers and not using them for the purpose that they were designed, right? So that's one step removed from the purpose. All the shoe brands started out as athletic footwear. They made stuff for cats like sporting goods stores, right? But then by the 80s, things started shifting and people were wearing the shoes out of context. Now, in the 2000s, people are taking it one more step out of context. They're buying the shoe to not even to sell, right? So that's another removal of context. But there's a culture in that as well.
Of course.
And we can't, like if you look at the word culture, it's the attitude and behavior patterns of a group, of a community. And there's a community of resellers. That doesn't supersede that there's still the grand majority, the resellers resell to somebody. And that someone is a Mubi who doesn't have access the way the resellers do, but eventually it lands on someone's feet that really cares about wearing them. So, you know, we can be old and we can be grumpy. I'm 51. I've seen a lot of changes I can be super grumpy about. For real, like I had a sneaker store in 1996.
Footworks.
Yeah, with, you know, I was pre all this shit. Right? But I'm not grumpy. I see cats like Peter, lovely, you know, I'm happy for y'all, you know, so I'm just trying to, you know, I talked to Clark about this. Clark doesn't think it's a sneaker culture either. He's like, yo, we just wear our new shoes. But wearing your shoes and trying to be fresh, that's a culture. So they're offshoots of culture, it morphs.
Clark was a big pain in the ass for me, by the way. That's another story. When I was hunting shoes, I always had size 13 on the list. Wherever I came, where it was Manny in Fulton Street or Udi training camp, they were, 13, Clark Kent bought them all. Like, so he kept coming back. So I knew him before I knew him. Now we're friends, but yeah, he's my guy.
I think, yeah. We could talk about it on the side because I think that was there's two sides of it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, all right. Well, any other questions?
It's not a question, it's just
No, a statement. I rate that. I respect that.
First of all, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The question is, do you believe in need of innovation of the retail experience?
Innovation of the retail experience. Do we need it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. We try to. I mean, this is actually our first store. We did we got a bunch of samples and some shoes that we had left. We made it out of concrete. It was mad heavy. We wanted to do something different to people, sort of have that come to the store and see something different. That was like day one. We didn't have any money when we started. Like when we started out, I think we had to build the actual store after we paid, rent and everything. We had $12,000. Last week we passed $30 million. So it's for this year. So it's a little bit US. It's a little different.
Our sneaker store experience is quite fun as well. It's like an Easter egg experience. Every time you walk in, you notice something new. You notice something that you haven't seen before. So I mean, like if you do get the opportunity to go through any one of our stores, if you just look around and you can kind of pinpoint, oh, that is synonymous with Adi. That is synonymous with Jordan. That's with Nike.
It could be a shell toe looking lamp, or it could be a boost table, or it could be a swoosh chair. We do a lot of fun stuff to make people sort of maybe Instagram it, to remember that they came to our stores. Anyone can make a sort of a big white space and end up on the first page of Hypebeast. So it's a great shoe store. It's a white store. That's too boring.
So, for me personally, is what I feel is missing is that hunt to find shoes.
But brands are doing it now,
Yeah,
right.
It's coming. It's coming.
I think the hunt's bigger than ever.
Yeah.
Personally, from my perspective on the scene, I think it's like supporting football teams now. There's hundreds of different teams there. Back growing up in Europe, you'd be very segmented to the runners, the casuals. Then in America, you'd have your basketball, boots, and everything's crossed over. And there's literally hundreds, and it's like aggressive in a competitive. Like you've got your people who wear this, you've got people who are inspired by this. Some of it you hate. I mean, some of it you can't even recognise, but you filter through and find what you like. So it's a lot more.
But when I talk about the desire or the hunt to find shoes, the shoes are everywhere. But the fact is they're everywhere. When there used to be, like in the States, there was like Finish Line exclusives that when we were here, we would be like, I want to get that shoe.
And then in London, JD exclusives.
And then in London, it was JD exclusives. And vice versa. The US wanted the shoes that we had over here or in London as exclusives. Like, I know the brands are doing it now, but I feel like that enjoyment of finding a shoe that you haven't seen before, because of the internet, because of the way things have kind of made things so accessible, I just don't feel that as excited as I used to.
Well, exactly. I mean, I look back and I remember like the big and the hype growing up for me back then was, I'd say, more hype than now without internet, and Peter probably remember. But you'd want a shoe, you wouldn't know where to find it. You'd walk into a store in wherever you walk about in England, and you'll find it 2-3 weeks after release. But everyone's looking for it. They don't know where that sort of hunt's disappeared.
Yeah.
But it's a negative. Is it? I mean, it's sort of internet exists. We need to sort of adapt to it.
Yeah, you have to adapt, for sure.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil in some respects. It's a commercial beast now, isn't it? I mean,
Exactly. You can't control it anymore.
So-
You can't.
So hopefully it's still fun for everyone.
I mean, who remember? There used to be a website called Webfoot. Someone might remember. Someone from back there. Yeah. There was, back then you could go online to find stuff. You had to search for. I remember the first question I got from Japan. It was an email from a customer that his English wasn't the best, and then the question was, "Is there air woven?" That's it. And I've never heard of air woven. I had a pant, like a women's pant in the store called Nike Woven Pant. I was like,
oh, the wovens,
but that was the question. And at the time, the only way to know about the woven was to have the Boon magazine.
Yeah.
You didn't know online that there was a shoe called air woven if you were in Europe. They came, like the first ones that Hiroshi and the guys made, that was like, nobody knew about it. But it was huge in Japan. And then it came on. Yes, but it was. I had no clue, and I've been, at the time I'd been in the industry for 12 years, and I had no idea what air woven was because it wasn't on the internet.
Any other questions? Yeah.
My question was originally for Peter, but I'm hearing 4,500 pairs will be definitely
Yeah.
For you guys, what makes the shoes special for you? Is it just like your personal collection, nostalgia?
It could be. I mean, first of all, sneakers. I started wearing sneakers because they're comfortable and because I run DMC. That's sort of. The Sheltos might not be the most comfortable shoes, but I still love them. Still run them in DMC as well. Today I buy shoes that I like by looking at them, but it could also be if they're super comfortable. So, and it could be a personal relationship like these that I'm wearing, for instance. The Solan guys did a great job. I'm not a skater, sorry about that. I'm wearing the latest skateboard shoe from Nike, which is made by my friends from a Danish band called Solan. Came out yesterday in Colette, if you were there. Week at Sneakers and Stuff.
I have no idea. I just.
I know your picture was really deep. Like there must be pairs that you would never let go of.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, totally.
I mean, I'm a hoarder. I never sell anything.
Yeah,
I get stuff for free nowadays. I think I got more shoes from Nike this year than I got in my entire career. So, but I never sell stuff.
I'm obviously a big hoarder as well.
Yeah,
so.
I don't even have an eBay account. I just buy.
Where do you hold your shoes?
I've got a big yellow storage.
I have a few.
Can
storage.
you give me the address?
No.
You have a few storages as well.
I used to have it pretty close to the office, so sort of a little bit of archive. I could, whenever they dropped a shoe, I was like, I have to look at it. It doesn't look right. Then I go back in time and look at it.
Right.
So I like to keep them.
Yeah.
Even though I know most of them you can't wear now. But
I mean, I knew I had a problem when I found a shoe. I can't remember where it was, and I was so excited that I bought it. And then I realized, like a couple of years later, I already had it. Yeah. So, I have so many shoes that, which I'm sure you guys have done as well, is that you bought doubles, triples, and you forgot that you even had them because you've got that many.
I have a fun story. People always ask, why don't you have like a display of all your shoes? Eric and I had about 500 pairs on display for a while in the store. It was for a movie, Kicks by Thibaut.
By Thibaut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a party in Stockholm with DJ Premier, and we showcased, because it was sort of Nike sponsored, so Eric and I put out 500 shoes of our Nikes on display. So it was a big wall. So, but we couldn't fit a whole pair, so we only fit like one shoe on each side of that wall. So So for like 10 years, I had my 250 pairs of that wall on another warehouse. So I had 250 pairs, like 150 of them never worn for 10 years on ice because they were separate. And I still have a few of them. So yeah, it's a little weird, but.
And we'll have one more question. Oh gosh, there's a few.
Front row.
How long do we have? Okay, we'll do 2 more questions. So, all right, we'll do.
Yeah.
You also mentioned the complex content that's on DXB. So if you guys can start sneaker stuff anywhere, where would you start?
Start it fresh. Start all over again. Where would you open SNS?
Bobito know that question. I started the company on a flight over to New York City. So New York City is sort of my second home. My dream is to open there. If I could start all over again, I would start somewhere really fancy.
Okay.
This is a weird question, but I don't know if you guys are married or you have partners.
I got 4 kids.
I'm not married.
So I'm sort of married.
Sneaker collection management. How do you do that with your wife? Like, what's some advice on?
Buy them a pair.
I'm guessing you're married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Friday scarf. We call it Friday scarf. I have to bring back some expensive scarf on Fridays.
You bring,
Like we're running out of space in our house. We just moved to Villa now so that we can accommodate more of my shoes. And it seems like at first it was the money. And then after I started getting pairs for free, or if I would, work for them or trade them or whatever, then it was like, oh, we're running out of space. And then it was like, I actually don't like each of the stuff we've got. It's like, oh, you know what? I don't have enough pairs that, I do have all these pairs.
Yeah, of course. My mum crucified me. And my brother will vouch for that. Like every time I came home after work on a Thursday or Friday, visiting Magdi or just doing the rounds on the weekend of launches. Oh my God, it was just like, what are you doing with all these shoes? Why are they everywhere? Because I hid them in every single cupboard or attic that I took over the attic. And then, it got way too much and I had to get storage. So I've had storage for like a decade now.
What about the boxes? Because that's the one that really, that's the
I don't keep boxes.
I keep boxes.
I didn't keep at the beginning.
I can't.
But
I have to. I need the boxes. I can't have the shoe
I have
without
big
boxes.
plastic boxes stacked with just
I used to think I was a size 9. I used to, believe it or not, but I was a football player back in the days. So Eric was a basketball player. I was a football player. I thought I was a size 9 for maybe 10 years. Then I tried 9.5 and I was like, oh, that's... So I have a lot of size 9 like samples that I got for free. And they didn't come in boxes.
Okay. I think we're going to wrap up, but I know Bobito had one more thing he wanted to say.
Just a quick yes or no. Would the Sneakers and Stuff aspire to have your own brand, not a collab with another brand, but your own shoe brand?
Footwear brand?
Yes.
No. Because it's not that easy to make a shoe. And if you look at these guys that try to make a shoe, most of them can't do it. Look at Adidas, Puma, Nike, Reebok, all these guys, they've been researching, trying to make shoes great for decades. They have like research labs. As you said, they're made for athletes. Just to make a shoe out of like a fashion perspective, mostly fashion shoes, like fashionista brands, if you try them on, I'm not a big fan of common products, by the way. They don't fit. No, proper shoes should fit.
Cool. That is a wrap. I just want to again, please just thank Pete and Mubi
Thanks for coming.
for their great insights. And thank you everyone here for coming and having a look.